That's disgusting, isn't it?
A quick cough.
Just wait for a clear from... Stand by.
Thank you very much for joining us. What are you doing on the BT Sport Facebook page again? Are you getting rid of something there just as we
chucking my
started?
phone away, Daryl.
Okay,
Professional.
and we're live on Periscope as well. As you can see, Kevin Thompson's here tonight, Stephen Craigan, Chris Sutton as well. And we're at Tannadice ahead of a really big game in the Championship to come later on. Dundee United against Hibs, your former high B. Big night for your old team, isn't it?
Yeah, massive game. One I'm really looking forward to. Two teams that I think have got lots of quality within their sides, and I think for United they have to try and get a positive result. I think the high Bs can come here and potentially look to draw the game and not lose too much ground. Obviously fighting fit at the top, so they'll be looking not to lose a game, I think.
How many times did you say big game in that sequence?
Another one. It's a big game tonight.
It's a huge game, Daryl, isn't it?
Excellent, it is, yes. Yep. Why is it so big for you?
Are Hibs starting to flounder a wee bit?
No.
Why are you saying that with a
Oh,
smile on your face?
I didn't say it was smiling. I couldn't care less what happens to Hibs, but I'm just saying.
What do you mean you
do you
couldn't
not
care
think they're
less?
looking over the shoulder thinking, oh, we're struggling a little bit this time of the
I
season?
think they're in a bad run, and they blew up last season, didn't they? Won the cup,
Yeah.
and I think that is a worry. I think Neil Lennon, in fairness, I don't know whether you read the papers, but Neil Lennon said that is a worry. But Dundee United aren't on a good run itself. Tonight, huge game, not a big game. We'll find a lot out, won't we?
Along with that, huge.
We also forgot to wish the big man a happy birthday.
Oh, I was going to do it
For the one person,
Happy birthday.
who's out there who may not know,
Yeah.
then it's your birthday today, isn't it?
It
And by the way,
is.
you've been travelling with him all day,
Yeah.
and he's been tweeting all day.
Yeah.
So he's been a bit antisocial to you.
I know, I got my cake.
I can understand why sometimes.
I brought some chocolates, you know.
Well, you did.
You know what he said? He said, what am I going to do with them?
He's very jealous.
That's why I'm in good nick.
Not thankful at all.
Anyway, would you say this is a huge game?
It is a pivotal game, and you can talk about, you know, if Hibs lose, they've still got more games. They have to win tonight. I think if they win tonight, it puts Dundee United to bed. It puts Morton to bed. It puts a bit more pressure
Puts
on
everybody
Falkirk,
to bed, doesn't it?
Falkirk as well. Falkirk close as well. So it's a huge pivotal night for Hibs. They've shown they can win big games. The Edinburgh Derby and the Scottish Cup. Can they win the big league? They came here earlier in the season. We done the game and they lost 1-0. That has to be.
You
reversed
think they're
tonight.
going to blow up, don't you?
No, I don't. No. I don't.
Well, what was all that stuff
I'm
you were
just
saying a
seeing the
minute
little
ago?
signs. I just see the signs of potentially last year, or the players starting to become a little bit nervous. Is the Scottish Cup becoming a hindrance rather than a
So
help?
Hibs are going to win the league for you.
They should win the league.
No,
for
should.
me.
Are they going to
Well,
win
I
the
have
league?
no idea. Based on the last
do you
two
think-
seasons,
well,
I'm not so sure. I
I
think
think
should.
they'll win the
They
league. You,
should.
Kevin?
They're going to win the league.
If United were to win here tonight, though, it's not a 2-horse race anymore, and Falkirk are in there as well. So, but it would all of a sudden maybe be a 4-horse race, wouldn't it?
Well, there's obviously respect for the other teams. Falkirk, Morton, you know, terrific season. Jim Duffy down there at Morton, and look, the Highbees are the best team. There's no question about that. I think they raise their game when the big games come. It's obviously a big game. There's going to be a big crowd, and I think the Highbees are certainly going to come here and take the game to United tonight.
Is it 3 of their last 4 games?
Look,
Home again.
they have been
They
stumbling.
lost away to St Mirren, bottom of the league. They drew at home to Ayr, second bottom of the league.
You've already made this
They
point.
drew
Let's get
against-
some questions
They're
in,
still
Daryl.
6 points
Come on,
clear,
Firmin, who were
There's another
fourth
game this
bottom.
weekend, Daryl, isn't there?
It must be slightly concerning.
What game were you thinking of?
Come on, Daryl, don't be like that. We know.
Motherwell,
Another Hugh.
Aberdeen,
You think he's in the dugout
you'd
again
say it was a
tomorrow?
big
I'm not.
game.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
come on.
Are you
I'm
not?
not. No, that's me. Binned it. 100% record in the dugout. That's what you do.
Robinson in the dugout.
Who's
He'll
in
be
the
there
dugout?
all
Oh,
season. He'll be there all
Who's in the
season.
dugout for Motherwell tomorrow?
Stephen Robinson will be in the dugout tomorrow.
Right.
And James McFadden.
And is that a
He
good thing
snuck
for the
in,
team?
didn't
Because
he?
they were saying...
Snuck in Robinson, didn't he? Just came in,
Yeah.
didn't he? Under the radar.
Listen,
And then
you sneak in?
McGee
Listen,
goes.
everybody's not like you, remember? Everybody doesn't
No,
have
I
the same
haven't.
mentality. I think you only think that way if you're like that as a person. That's why you concern me.
Club did say, though, they thought a new manager would be in place for this game. So what's happening with all the applications? Can you ask? Is it a conflict of interest?
No, I asked. I think they're planning on potentially speaking to 5 people next week, one of which is
How
Stephen
do you know
Robinson.
5? What, potentially 5?
Yeah, up to as many as 5.
You one of
They
them,
said they're
Craig?
gonna speak. No.
No fancy it, no?
No, no chance.
Why not?
I'm enjoying the under,
He loves this.
I enjoy the under 20
He
rule
loves
too
this.
much, and I just love calling the big man.
Come on, get
he's
some
next to the
questions in.
minority. Look, there's not many I can read
let's
yet.
talk Celtic.
There's not many I
Rangers.
can read out yet, but
Some
let's
aren't
talk...
abusive, are they, Daryl?
Not obviously to you, no. Never, never.
Why would they be?
Let's
Shall
talk
we talk
Celtic
Sunday?
Rangers. Come
Shall
on,
we?
let's talk. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it, Daryl.
Yeah.
The new manager. How do you pronounce his name, Daryl? I
How
struggled
about
earlier.
Pedro Caixinha?
On the
Good
spot.
enough for
Yeah,
you?
I was told earlier it was Cathenia.
Yeah, they
It was
were-
told
that.
earlier by the producer. Couldn't say it properly. But anyway, do you think he'll be in the dugout, Daryl? We always like to
Well,
hear.
apparently he's on a flight tomorrow.
Yeah, but do you
Could be
think
over, so
he'll
there's
be in
every-
the dugout, Daryl? What's your opinion? Should he be in the
How
dugout,
would you,
Daryl? I'd love to
how
hear
would
your
you
opinion.
possibly know?
Yeah, but what would you think? Should he be in the
If I
dugout?
was
Would
Pedro
you put him?
Caixinha, I think I'd be sitting in the stand.
Yeah, I agree.
Why?
Because it's a better view up there.
No, Kev, take you back to your playing days, and there's a new manager coming in. I think you want to put yourself out in front of the players and say, I'm here to take you forward and lead you forward, rather than sit in the stand and hope.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I think if he's got anything about him, he'll want to do that. I think if there's a naivety taking the job and there's a nervousness, he doesn't want to go there and put potentially a defeat on his record straight away.
Shouldn't have taken the job.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you think he should be in the dugout?
I think he should be, yes.
That's ridiculous. Why would he want to sit in the dugout when Frank McAvenny said it would be 8. I don't think it will be 8, but Celtic are by far the strongest side. Why would you want that on your CV? Put yourself under that pressure. He can't change a lot of things this season.
Do you want that guy managing your club then?
Well, of course you do, but give him a chance. No. Don't let him going off the back of a hiding.
No.
If I was a Rangers fan, and I'm not, I'm impartial, Stephen.
Yeah, I fully understand that.
If I was a Rangers fan, I would be happy finishing the season 3rd, getting into Europe, giving this guy a chance to build, and let's judge him next season.
You've definitely showed why you're not a Rangers fan. The Rangers fans don't want to come 3rd, put it that way.
Yeah, you've not been on radio this week, have you?
Pinky and
Comments
Porky.
coming in. I don't know. Anyway, here's a question from
Pinky and Porky. Pinky and Perky, I think.
Is that Pinky and you'll be like, Porky?
You two have lost it. Right, here's a question I can read from Aaron Beveridge. He's asking Chris about Dembele's value right now. There's been a bit of talk again about this week from Ali McCoist, and thoughts on Caixinha as well, Aaron Beveridge. He wants
You can't say his name very well.
I think that was as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, that's good.
Until he gets here and tells us we're all wrong.
What Dembele... sensational. Celtic don't...
What's his value today in the market?
Well, I think, Ali McCoist, what did he say? Not worth 30 million? I think that Celtic wouldn't let him go for any less than 30. If they got 34, which was quoted, then a decent bit of business, but look, he's got to stay for his development. What's the point of him going down to England like Batshuayi at Chelsea and sitting on the bench? That would be ridiculous. Stay at Celtic, help Celtic, develop Celtic, and then move on in time when he's developed as a player.
OK, I'll come back to the game as well. A few other questions coming in here. One from Glenn Watkin. He's asked, who's the best Scottish player in the top flight this season?
Scott Brown. Best Scottish player. Influences games, influences his own team.
I thought he was going to say Keith Lasley then, but Scott Brown, I'm glad he's gone with Scott Brown.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's the one player that you take out of that team, he makes a real difference. He's a driving force, he's a leader. Obviously Dembele and Sinclair are top players. They've shown their worth in weight and gold this year, and they've been terrific to watch. But I think Scotty, what he brings to that team is different for any other player.
And he's Kev's best mate.
And he's my mucker, so I always try my best to bring him up when I get a chance.
There's a question from James McLaren who says, if Celtic win on Sunday, do Aberdeen definitely finish second? Then do you think Rangers would not be able to catch Aberdeen?
What did I say? If Celtic were
to win.
I thought you were going to say, would anybody be able to catch them, Daryl? But I think Aberdeen will finish second this season, and Rangers just have to regroup. Give this new guy a chance. You didn't give Cathro a chance. Give this guy a chance.
And?
Well, still needs longer, doesn't he? But,
I've no doubt about giving him a chance, of course, but I just think if you're coming
you
to a new club...
You haven't got a sort of personal issue, though, with Caixinha?
No.
Okay.
Sorry?
Because I don't know who he is. If I'm being honest.
A few people are obviously responding to your thoughts on the player of the season so far. A lot on Dembele. Sinclair as well, you were saying?
He's one of the ones for me was the bright spark at the start. Whether he got that little bit of an injury, I'm not too sure he's come back in the same vein of form. I know he scored a few goals. I don't think he's influencing games as much as what he was in the early part of the season.
Paul Thompson, interesting point here. He's saying that everyone's talking about Dundee United. Has to be a must-win game for them, but they're saying if you're going to make the playoffs, they have to finish at least second. To skip that first round, that would be big as well.
It's important.
It hurt Hibs last season, didn't it?
But then obviously Hamilton done the scenario where, a couple of seasons ago they obviously played you could call it the quarter-final, the semi-final and then the final. So sometimes the momentum can be important rather than staying 2 weeks obviously not playing a game. So I think it's important. Look, Falkirk, whether it's Morton in the race as well, United, the Highbees, everybody wants to get that top spot.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it?
It is, because there's so many games in such quick succession as well. Peter Houston said last season that he felt it was just a game or 2 games too many for them. I think it's at 4 games in 10 days or 4 games in 12 days, which is a huge turnaround after a long season. So if you're not going to win the league, naturally, second place to miss out on those early games.
Gerard Watt has asked your opinions about the director of football role. Yes, what indeed? A good thing, bad thing?
Well, It's unclear that what you're talking about Rangers again.
Well, I
the
think
Rangers
he's asking in general because obviously it's happening quite a few clubs right now.
It's each to their own, isn't it? It's something which happens a lot on the continent, and it's successful. And you know whether Stephen had a good argument with Terry Butcher about should the director of football be picked first and then choose the manager off the back of that. So it does seem slightly odd the way the appointment of Caixinha's come about, but I think the normal way is for the director of football to go in first.
But that looked as if that's the way they were going to go. When Stuart Robertson and Dave King made their statements, you felt as if that's the direction they were going to go in. Is it because people turned him down? I don't know.
And just finally, a few people asking, what age are you?
Well, how old do you think I am,
there's a speculation of 55 coming there, which I
that's
thought was
disgusting.
a tad harsh.
53 would have been about right.
Yeah.
But it's working
Closer.
with you. That's
Yeah.
bailing you out every week. That's the thing. Pinky and Porky.
He's come a long way, hasn't he?
That's why.
Anyway, listen, we're out of time. Thank goodness for that.
tongue-in-cheek,
But do join us a little bit later on, 7 o'clock tonight for Scottish Football
Pinky and
Extra.
Porky.
And right after that, 7:30 for the build-up to Dundee United against Hibs. See you then.